to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We are traveling all over Uganda to find hardworking farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need
to make their farms more productive and adapt to climate change.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice and turn their farms around into a profitable business,
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience
on the Shamba Shape Up Uganda. Rob, what's with the long face?
It's about our farmers that we're visiting.
What?
They have a lot of school fees to pay, and yet they sold all their cows to achieve this.
And wait, how many enterprises do they have?
They have many, but with challenges.
That's okay, Rob. That's why we are here. We are going to sort them. We're going to help them. Let's go.
Let's go, but you're failing to understand.
Today we are in Buyichi village in Mukono district. And we are visiting Moses Kasirivu and his lovely wife Irene Namubiru. They have 7 children. Moses values quality education and all his children go to good schools, but it is very expensive.
Because of this, they run their 5-acre farm as a business. On it they grow coffee, bananas, maize, beans, and they also have chicken and goats.
Hello, Mr.
Moses. Hello. You are welcome. You are welcome.
Hello. Nice to see you. How was the journey?
Not bad. We're from Shamba Shape Up.
Shamba Shape Up?
Yes.
Moses Kasirivu.
Irene Namubiru Kasirivu.
Okay, Mr. Kasirivu. Yes. What challenges do you have on your farm?
My enterprise, mainly, I'm dealing in coffee. The harvest is not as expected.
Do you rear birds here?
I do rear birds, majorly broilers and also layers.
Yeah. What challenges do you have there?
We have diseases that disturb poultry management.
So I'm sure you handle them at okay.
I do.
Do you have any challenges?
The species that I have, they are not the very one I would like that I see on the market. Because in the market you see a very big bunch. But however much I put in a lot of effort, still the yields are not very good.
You're paying for your kids' education.
Yes.
How much do you pay for school fees annually?
Annually, we pay 15 million. And the fees is coming from what we do from those birds, from the gardens, and then we try to raise money.
Fortunately for you, we don't come just the two of us. We come with some experts. So let us go and call them, then we come back and we see how to deal with these problems.
We shall be very
wonderful.
happy.
We'll see you. See you soon.
You are welcome.
Today we are walking around this farm focusing on how to get the best out of each enterprise, starting with coffee. Moses planted this 1 acre of coffee 3 years ago, and this last harvest he only got 500,000 shillings. This is very low. What could he do to boost his earning? We have invited Andrew Magombe from Cafe Africa to show us how we can get the best out of this coffee plantation. Andrew, you've looked around. What have you observed?
First of all, the soil is good. That's one thing. However, when you look at the garden, there are issues I noted. One was the over-intercropping. There are too many types of crops, those that are required and those that are not required in the coffee. For example, we have the sweet potatoes all over. Now, when you grow sweet potatoes in coffee, as you're harvesting, you keep destroying the roots of the coffee. And yet those are the ones that help to feed. Then the crop looks malnourished. It's like it doesn't have enough nutrients. Wherever they've removed the sweet potatoes, the coffee tree looks yellowish, meaning the roots have been destroyed and they can't pick up the nutrients and water. So that's one. Then pests and diseases. That pest which dries the twigs or the branches, the black coffee twig borer. Then the diseases, coffee wilt disease, and can spread easily if not managed, and can lead to 100% yield loss. So those factors, if you're not managed, they can drastically reduce the yield and therefore your income.
I have a question on how to manage the coffee wilt disease.
To manage a disease effectively well, you need to know the ways in which it's spread. First, it's a fungal disease, and it's spread mainly by farm tools. As they work on one tree and go and work on the other using these tools, they are unknowingly spreading the disease. This gives us the first control measure. We disinfect the tools using spirit before and after using the tool on every coffee tree. 2, if you see the signs of the affected coffee tree, you uproot, chop it, gather the wood and burn. Then thirdly, plant resistant varieties, the KR lines. They are resistant to the coffee wilt disease from KR1 to KR10. So if you put those practices in place, you'll have said bye-bye to the coffee wilt disease. For the black coffee twig borer, reduce or manage your shade by pruning and desuckering your coffee to allow light penetration. Then 2, if you move and see where there are signs of the coffee twig borer, prune the dry branches, gather them in a container, and burn them outside the garden. There you'll have eliminated the borer.
Moses,
Yes,
in terms of kilograms,
Yes.
how much did you harvest last season?
I harvested 500 kilograms.
That was 500 kilograms of what?
This live harvested coffee.
In
Garden
1
of
acre.
1 acre.
Okay.
Andrew,
Yes, please.
how much money is expected to get out of an acre?
For 1 acre of Robusta coffee, if you did the correct spacing of 10 feet by 10 feet, you are to get 450 plants. Every coffee tree, if managed well, you are supposed to harvest about 2 kilograms of FAQ. 450 trees times 2 kilograms, that is 900 kilograms, times the price of 6,700 per kilo. You get 6,030,000 shillings. That's what you should have got from coffee. But there's also another trick. To make this garden more profitable, you intercrop coffee with the right intercrops. Bananas. For every 4 coffee plants, 1 banana. You space banana at 20 feet by 20 feet. So in 1 acre, which is 450 plants of coffee, you'll have 112 banana plants. Each banana in a year is capable of giving you 3 bunches. So now that is additional income to the coffee.
How would you advise Moses, like what should he do to get that harvest at the end of the season?
You put in place the recommended practices we have discussed in a stepwise form. Now for the food security aspect, as you harvest your potatoes and cassava, don't plant them again in the coffee.
1 acre of matoke and coffee, if done well, can earn you over 12 million Uganda shillings every year. That's big money. But let's see what Frob's enterprise should earn the family.
Coffee and bananas are 2 perennial crops that work well together and are constant earners to farmers. Irene harvests 10 to 15 bunches every month from her half-acre of banana plantation. Is this good for their business? Are they turning a profit? And if not, what can they do to improve their earnings? Dr. Godfrey Saru from Naro is here to answer these questions.
You've been doing the normal observing.
Yeah, I've moved around and seen. One, in terms of weeding, you really have to put in extra effort to remove the weeds.
The weeds, true.
Secondly, as I moved around, I saw you have a big problem of weevils.
And how can I control the weeds? The
You
weevils?
now get a healthy planting material. You are supposed to remove all the roots
Yeah.
and do what we
Clean
call
it.
pairing, cutting off all
Oh.
the surfaces that have black spots so that it remains white. That way, you plant it knowing you've removed all the weevils.
How else can we control the weevils?
You can come in with a chemical. You mix 200 mils
200
of
mils.
Dudugard in 20 liters of water and then apply. Then, I want to remind you that one of the ways to fight the weevils is improving the nutrition so that the plant
Can
grows
family
vigorous.
stand? Oh, yeah.
Then I've looked at the management of your bananas. You leave so many of the male buds. This one you need to
To remove
break it
them.
off at the right stage. If you don't, you are likely to get a problem of banana bacteria wilt.
Wilt.
How does banana bacteria wilt spread in your plantation? It can be spread by the tools that we use, pangas, the hose.
Okay.
How do we control the banana bacteria wilt?
How?
After planting, Then once it's fruiting, make sure as soon as that male bud comes out of the last cluster, you break it off. Why do we remove? Bees normally visit those flowers.
True.
And by moving from one plant to the other, they transmit the disease. Now, when you harvest the bunch, you have to disinfect the tool. How do you do that?
What?
A fire flame. Sometimes we use jig to disinfect. So once you do that, then you'll keep your plantation very healthy.
So with all these practices that you've mentioned, if she puts them into practice, can she make money?
We want to have continuous production. And you should be able to get bananas every week or after every 2 weeks. So you should do what we call plantation programming. So you have to program it in such a way that you have the grandmother, the daughter,
Then the
and the granddaughter. Such that once the grandmother goes off, this daughter, within 4 or 5 months, should give you a bunch. And by the time it also goes this one is also fruiting, so that in a year you can have 3 bunches.
So it is possible.
It's very, very possible. How big is this?
The plantation is approximately half an acre.
Half an acre.
Yes.
But the most important thing is to know the number of plants. And if you have half an acre, then you should have at least 225 mats in that area. Let's say you only get 2 bunches per year. How many would those be?
That's 450.
If you can get a good size bunch, you can sell it at 20,000 from each. You just imagine, from the 450 bunches,
We have
if you can be able to use 150
At home?
at home, then you have 300
for sale.
for the market, and you sell at 20,000. Isn't that 6 million?
Okay, 6 million.
Your half acre with proper management, Irene will get 6 million.
6 million.
Plus enough food to
At
feed.
home. Doctor, thank you very much for this advice.
So with coffee and bananas intercropped, we get above 12 million. With bananas on the half acre, we get 6 million. That's way above our budget. 18 million.
Rob,
Yeah.
I think I like this idea of looking at each enterprise as an asset.
Good.
Yes.
So what other enterprise can we do?
I am thinking poultry because Moses and Irene seem to love it so much.
After you?
I'm going.
Welcome back!
To Shamba Shape Up, Uganda.
We are in Buyichi village and we're still visiting the Kasirivus. We have seen the potential profits that can be gotten from the coffee farming when it is properly managed, as well as the financial potential if we fix our banana plantation.
Now let's focus on the poultry business and the benefits of using electricity to cook in the Kasirivu household. Rob,
Yes.
you're running out of time.
No. We have time.
Moses and Irene have been poultry farmers for 5 years, primarily focusing on broilers. However, they have now expanded their operation to include 600 layers that are 4 months old. Seeking assistance from Mr. Chigongo Hassan from Kenchik, we aim to learn how to become a successful poultry farmer. What challenges do you have?
Some time back, coccidiosis affected them, and also cough.
Yes.
Those are the major challenging conditions.
Now, the structure is okay and everything is okay. We just need to polish a little bit. Just a bit of the feeders. Initially, these feeders were designed in that a bird cannot stand like that. Whenever it stands, it rolls, you know. So now whenever it stands like that, they will end up dropping in the feeds. Now they come and eat, then they will get coccidiosis like you earlier mentioned. Our chicks, they come pre-vaccinated. They come prevention against gumboro, infectious bronchitis, or we do Marex and Newcastle disease. So it will give your chick the best kickstart. Then another thing, the number of feeders is not quite enough. I saw the feeders having full capacity, and other birds were waiting for others to feed, then they come in and feed. So some birds will grow faster than others. Because remember, a bird will only lay when it has reached 1.6 kilograms. So what happens, like the ones that attain the weight, they will lay faster than these ones.
The other problem,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, cannibalism.
And now as Kenchik, we have a technology that we call infrared beak treatment. If you can notice these birds, they are already debeaked.
Okay.
So what happens, we have a technology that has something like a laser beam, okay? It just passes across the beak. So now, these beaks fall off from 2 to 3 weeks around there. Okay. It is so advantageous. How? One, it saves the birds the stress, because usually people debeak when birds are preparing their ovary to lay. So when you debeak them, they reduce in feed intake, and thus the ovary ceases to grow. So what happens, they extend the period to lay. So now what happens here is that we do it for you, and you don't tamper with your birds. And it's only Kenchik that has such technology.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, then another thing, Mr. Moses, I looked at the entire structure. I didn't find any light.
Sure, we don't have light here, and we have been using majorly paraffin. We use them just when the birds are too young.
Yeah, too young,
Now we
yes.
think they are now at a level that we
They can handle.
Exactly.
That is the reason.
Okay, now I would advise Mr. Moses politely,
Yes.
we need to put some lights inside this house. There's what we call light stimulation.
Okay.
As birds start laying, they need 16 hours of light, because light is very good in the laying process. So you'll get your good number of eggs if you put some light inside this house.
Wonderful.
Yes, yes. And then lastly, Mr. Moses, I try to look at this.
Laying nests.
These are the laying nests.
Yes, yes.
We need to cover up on top and create some darkness, Mr. Moses. Because when birds are laying, they need privacy. And also to prevent others pecking on the vent when it's laying.
Now maybe what you would also, where I would also need your guidance
Yes.
is about how many kilograms as the age of these birds can be consumed in a day.
For these birds, right now at 4 months, we need about 88 grams per bird.
88 grams
Yes,
per bird.
per
Okay.
bird. Because as they grow, their intestine tends to get longer and we have to fill it. So what happens, we keep increasing up to when we reach a limit and stop there.
Now, how should I bring in that? Should I bring it once? Like if I calculate and I find out that these birds consume about 30 kilograms,
No, we divide into two,
will you divide into two?
bringing a third of a feed in the morning,
Okay.
then the biggest, which is 2/3, in the afternoon. Because from morning, suppose you're giving at 6, and then you give a second meal at about 12 or 1, it is a short period of time. But then, from when you give a second meal at 1, up to the next time they're getting feeds,
In the morning.
it's a bit longer, okay? And the egg laying process, it usually takes long, okay? So it needs to find the crop full so that it can pick nutrients from there, and then you make the egg. You have free technical support from Kenchik. The vets come to your farm free of charge. And these birds are resistant in diseases. Even if they got sick, they will heal quickly.
Thank you so much, Hassan.
Yeah.
Ay,
Thank
let's
you.
go help other farmers. With the help of Caris, we managed to cover the laying boxes so that the birds can have privacy. But that's not all. Since layers stay longer on the farm, to prevent diseases, it is important to clean away the dust. Turn the litter once a month and always use a foot bath with disinfectant before entering the poultry house.
Now you see, Irene spends all day on the farm and she has got some back problems. But despite all that, she spends hours cooking for the family. Irene? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, please.
How are you? How
I'm
are you?
okay.
Good,
How are
good.
you, my dear?
Not bad.
Yes. What is this machine for?
So, we're going to prepare some meat.
We are going to prepare it using this machine.
Yes, and it will take a shorter time.
Do you know the cost of umeme?
Irene just gave me a brilliant idea. Why don't I invite someone who can answer her questions? Smallholder farmers fear cooking with electricity and use other energy sources like charcoal and firewood, thinking they are cheaper. I've invited an expert from Umeme, Mr. Peter Mwesigwa, to teach us how EPCs are cost-effective and safe. Just before we could start, I used this chance to show Irene how easy and fast it is to cook with the electric pressure cooker. First, I press the saute button, then put some oil. Add the ingredients, freshly diced meat, add some water. Mix, 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 and close.
Okay, good. So, as that is cooking, we can have a conversation with Mr. Peter from Umeme.
We're interested in seeing what do we use our power for. I'm actually happy that I found a saucepan cooking here because Umeme is piloting a project to promote the use of electric pressure cookers, to promote use of electricity for cooking.
Okay.
Because there are very many advantages for that.
You can tell us some of the advantages of using.
It saves us from the unclean sources, like cooking using firewood.
Firewood, yes.
Cooking using charcoal. Why? Because if you use firewood or charcoal, it affects our health as you breathe in that smoke. But it is also cheaper than using firewood. For example, a meal like this that we are preparing will use only about 400 shillings
Of power.
of yaka, of power. And now you can compare that with buying charcoal. Even if you go to buy charcoal in a cavera, you cannot buy charcoal for 400.
Yes.
I think the smallest amount could be about 1,000 or to 2,000. Yeah, and for 1,000 might not even be enough to prepare your food. The one is the convenience. You see, we're conversing. You don't need to check whether the water is over. You don't need to boil anything. You can use your time to do other things, to look after your animals, because you don't need to keep babysitting food. Otherwise, if you're using charcoal firewood, you have to be there, check
That is
water, check. So that's another advantage.
Okay. But you said I would only use 400 shillings
To cook this
to
meal,
cook
yes.
this meat. But throughout the day, would one use only this pressure cooker?
The electric pressure cooker cooks about 80% of the meals
That
that
we
are
need.
used in Uganda. Yes.
But it can still prepare beans?
Yes, it can prepare beans, and it will take shorter period of time. Because how long does it take for you to prepare beans on firewood?
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. And charcoal?
Then charcoal can take 2.5 or
2.5 hours. And yet the EPC takes about 45 minutes
45.
to prepare your dry beans, and you're out enjoying.
Indeed, we've been fearing the bills. We've been afraid of the bills. But if this thing can save, if you go into the budget and calculate, then we shall go in for this.
You've actually got the whole idea of why you are talking about an EPC.
Yes.
Because an EPC is an efficient and modern cooking appliance. It saves over 50% of the consumption.
Aha! This alarm means our sauce is ready. Oh, another safety feature of the EPC is that it can't open until all the pressure has been released.
So, let us open. Oh my goodness!
Yummy! This looks so delicious.
Irene, go and get the sweet potato.
I'm also going to
No, you're
share.
going to partake. Don't worry.
When I came, she was talking of disconnection. So
Aggie and Mr. Moses have arrived.
Yes.
Hey, you're right on time.
What's going on, Frob?
Yeah, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm here with Mr. Chef.
Are these Umeme people?
Yes.
Have that come to disconnect our power?
No.
We are here to eat, not to eat.
To eat.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Potato is here.
Good, 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 good.
Okay.
So, Mr. Peter, how much Umeme have we consumed?
If you remember, at the beginning, the meter was reading 3.7 kilowatt hours.
Yes.
Now, when we look at it, it's reading 4.1 units. That means we've not even used half a unit.
It has cost Irene only 268 shillings to prepare this sauce. Some high-quality EPCs can be purchased for as little as 250,000 shillings. The cost of buying the pressure cooker may be high at first, but with the unit of Yaka being 805 shillings or less, it will be cost-effective in the long run. Mr. Moses.
Yes.
Madam Irene.
Yes, sir.
We are here.
You are here. Yeah.
So when we started, you told us you used 15 million to pay for school fees annually.
True. That's true.
Then when we did our mathematics, we realized that you can get much more than that if you put into practice what the experts told you. Now, to add on to that,
We have brought you this variety of coffee seedlings, KR1 to 10, to replace the infected coffee trees and this pesticide to help you control weevils.
But unfortunately, we have to leave, Frobisha.
yes,
Our time is out here. Yeah, as for you people at home, we'll see you on the next episode of Shamba, Uganda!